Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet Jayne Rothman. She's the Chief Legal Officer for Integrity. It's a technology company that is changing the world of life and health insurance. Her incredible story just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, I love doing shows about people who have climbed the ranks of their industry and now are clearly on top. And that describes my next guest, Jayne Rothman. She is the Chief Legal Officer for Integrity. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, me too. And you were awarded a major award from the DBJ, and that's our television partner. So
yes.
First, why don't we start with that? Tell us about the award.
Well, it was an incredible honor from the Dallas Business Journal. It was back in 2022. And it was for having certain accomplishments that occurred in 2021. In 2021, I first joined Integrity as its chief legal officer, but I was the only lawyer when I first started.
Wow.
And it was also a very tough year. We ended up acquiring, and we did 61 acquisitions that year, 61.
Incredible.
So when I started, we were actively doing about 14, 15. We moved up to about 30 at a time. At the same time, I was trying to build a team. I was implementing new systems at the company. Everything was going on all at once. 1 month in, I found out that my dad passed away. And then 1 month after he passed away, I found out that I had breast cancer.
Oh, gosh.
And so I ended up getting surgery that year. I took 2 weeks off, and then I came right back to work. Which I would not recommend anyone ever do.
Jayne, that could be a whole show in itself. And this is only a 15-minute show, so we'll have to have you back to tell that.
So it was a jam-packed year. It was a year that I think tested me quite a bit. But in my family we have a saying, and it's a simple one. It's press on. And so I think I take joy in actually getting through things.
Yes.
And I had a mission. When I joined Integrity, I joined it for a reason, and I meant to see it through. And I didn't want to let my teammates down either. And that's a fact.
And we're going to get into the Integrity company in great detail in a minute, but she's scrappy, she's tenacious, she doesn't like to be told no. And so it used to be called Integrity Marketing.
Yes.
And so you said it should just be Integrity. But to become integrity.com, you actually had to be very clever. It took a couple of years. It took a lot of surreptitious finagling and some negotiating behind the scenes. And what we ended up doing was we went down 3 paths. A couple of which were quite secret at the time. Sure.
But we wanted to make sure that we changed the company name from Integrity Marketing to Integrity.
Yes.
Because what a great name that is.
Yes.
And it really stands for everything that we do. And so I ended up having to find this company in South Carolina who had the name, and anonymously went through and bought it from them, out from under them, I guess you could say. And then we also worked really hard to get the trademark Integrity. So that was a huge accomplishment for us. And then the third piece of it, so you have the trademark, you have the company name, and then our website was integritymarketing.com, which took just forever to type out, and our emails were all that way. And so we found integrity.com was owned by another company that wanted, 8 figures, like high 8 figures, to give it up. And so we ended up pressing very hard down that path, including from a litigation and additional threatened litigation standpoint. And ultimately, we got it for a fraction of what they wanted. So we did get those 3. So we were able to rebrand.
Jayne, before we get into the company itself, where does this tenaciousness come from, this grit? Because a lot of people would just say, no, it's not available. They want to charge us too much money for that name. Is that mom or dad, or where do you get your grit from?
I think it's a little bit from both. So my parents grew up in Arkansas, and middle class, really worked hard. And my dad, was in the Navy. Since he passed away, as I mentioned, we saw him at Memorial Day quite recently, which was awesome. So he worked really hard, and he just instilled in us that, you have to put your mind to something. And once you do that, you just got to keep going and, don't quit.
Yeah.
Just don't quit.
I can see why you're so wildly successful. Let's talk about the company itself. What is Integrity?
Yeah, so Integrity is incredible. Integrity works in the life and health distribution space, which I know to many of you may sound foreign, but we work with hundreds and hundreds of carriers. And then we also work with thousands and thousands of agents. And so when you're an independent agent out there in the world, almost like independent real estate agents, you need to have access to all these hundreds of carrier products so that when you're working with your clients, you can offer them the most competitive, landscaper products for them and make sure that they have the best solution for their needs, right? So we work with carriers in the life space. So for all the different life insurance products, and there are many, many, many that I wasn't even aware of until I joined Integrity. And then also in the health space. So you think of Medicare Advantage, MedSup, ACA. So we work with thousands of seniors also with the agent network that we have to make sure that those seniors are getting placed into the right plans for their personal and financial needs. We create proprietary technology that is state of the art, and we use AI. We have a component of it called Ask Integrity, which is like Siri. And you can literally hit a button on your phone and say, hey, Integrity, help me understand the last conversation I had with my client. And Integrity will go back through your conversations and summarize them for you so that you don't have to re-listen to all your conversations, go through all your notes all over again. So you think about that just as a tool.
Sure.
And it's absolutely incredible. So we have all this proprietary technology that we offer to agents for free. To let them serve their clients. They just need to be affiliated with us and all the hundreds and hundreds of carriers. So, I mean, in my world, it was like, why not?
Yeah. And so you can save your partners and your customers that's countless dollars.
Yeah. And I'll mention our logo. So if you look at our logo, it is a gold eye. And there is a space, in between the two sides of the gold eye. That space in between stands for every individual American consumer.
Wow.
It's the one. And there's an uncapped part of the logo on top of the eye. And what that means is there's an unlimited amount of consumers that we can help and that we can serve.
Incredible. And you guys have assembled quite a dream team. So we're going to show the executive page off of your website.
Yes.
And as we scroll down, just you don't have to mention everybody, but
sure.
Tell us about the quality of the people that have come on the team.
Oh my goodness. This is truly the dream team. I've been a practicing lawyer now for 28 years, and I've been in-house counsel for 20 years, both at public and private companies. And this is hands down the best dream team I've ever worked with. So top left, I just will make a couple of shout outs here. Top left is Brian Adams. He's our co-founder and chief executive officer. He started Integrity himself years ago. And now, we're a large company coast to coast. And he is absolutely amazing. And then the middle of the screen you see there at the top, that's Linda Zukakis. She recently joined us, our chief financial officer, and she has worked with American Express and Nielsen. Yeah, Tom Dempsey, our chief distribution officer on the top right, was former CEO of World Financial Group. So a huge insurance distribution company. Ann Wood, next down under Brian, is our chief marketing officer and president on her own of a company called Thomas Arts, which is a media advertising company.
Very cool.
And Thomas Arts actually provides services to all the major carriers. So when you actually get your AARP card in the mail or you see a commercial on television for major carriers, that's Ann.
Okay. Tell us about what is it about Integrity that is attracting the top talent in the country?
It's our culture. And I'll give a shout out to one other person who was on that screen, Rochelle McReynolds, our Chief Human Resources Officer, our Chief People and Culture. For us, it is about people, it is about culture, and our name is integrity. That's one of our values, and we stand behind it. And every single day, I've never seen a company that works as hard as we do to make it a wonderful place to work. And we have won numerous awards from comparably. We just had some awards from U.S. News and Business Week. Yeah, it's on and on and on. It's amazing.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. You guys are also a content creation machine, because your blog page, we're going to pull that up. It's just filled with just very interesting stories. So in general, what do you like to feature on your blog page?
Yeah, because we're people. We're all about people, people-based company, and the relationships that we have with our agents, our agencies, and ultimately the consumers we serve. And so when you look at our featured stories, typically we're featuring different what we call partners out there, companies that are partnering with us or that we've acquired, who are out there making a difference with their consumers using our technology. And, we love to display what it is that makes them unique and tell their own story and what actually got them into the business and what drives them. Yeah.
Okay. What gets you out of bed in the morning? What is the most satisfying part about being with Integrity?
Oh, my dog gets me out of bed.
There's that.
The most satisfying part is that I like to think that I'm a business lawyer, meaning it's not just about, you take an assignment and you do it and then you turn it over and you don't know what happens once you do that. I actually love being a part of Integrity because I get to get in the business and help shape some of the strategy and direction that we're taking. And it's almost like cooking in a kitchen.
Yes.
It's messy, there's flour everywhere, but then finally, you can pull something out and you can say, look at what we did. I actually get the enviable opportunity to do that every single day.
Wow.
And I appreciate Brian Adams, the trust of the executive team to work with me and me working with them and serving them. They're my clients too, obviously, and, allowing me to do what I love to do best.
Okay. What does the word integrity mean to you?
You stand by your word. Your word is your bond, and you play fair. You play fair, and you live by the golden rule. You treat people how they want to be treated. Every time I think about that, what are we doing with software? What are we doing with how we're working with agents? Why are we creating what we're creating for the American consumer? I think about my mom, and what does she need? In the health space? What do I need in the life space? What were the only experiences that I had myself when I was trying to get life insurance? Right. It's complicated, and and our focus is really trying to make sure that we are serving the consumer holistically. It's life, it's health, and it's wealth. Because I can't begin to tell you how many people's, as a former bankruptcy attorney back in the day, how many people's financial retirement is completely upended by medical issues.
Yes.
And so you have to take that into consideration as you're working on your retirement planning, and we look at that consumer holistically. So when I think about treat people as they want to be treated, I think about, what would I want to do for my mom? What would I want to do for my sister?
Yes.
My friends. Yeah.
All right. We're almost out of time. So final thoughts. What would you like to leave people with?
I just would give a shout out to you for allowing us to come on the show. Dallas is an incredible place to work, and there's so much opportunity here.
Yes.
And it's turning into like the next giant tech hub. And there's so much business coming here. And I just love the fact that you're giving everyone an opportunity to talk about what they're doing on your show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And thank you for reminding us all about what integrity actually means. Thank you for sharing your heart and your wisdom. We're going to end with the website, which is Integrity. Sorry, I correct myself. You went to war to get this made. Integrity.com. The great Jayne Rothman. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.